Now it's time for In the Box Live with Matt, Adam, and Gio. These guys got more hits than a Celine Dion CD. Take it away, boys.
Everybody get...
Good evening, MASL family. Who noticed?
What an intro!
Who noticed the new intro? Did anyone notice the new intro?
If you didn't, well,
If you didn't, you have to wait until this is over and then rewind it and go back to the beginning.
or watch an old show and then watch this one and tell us if there's any differences.
Yes. We are connecting with Coach.
We should thank our good friend from St. Louis.
Yes, Joey Zanaboni. Thank you very much. Stay tuned. We'll talk about that later.
Yeah.
We're getting Coach Jules all lined up here. He's on a tight schedule tonight.
For the 87% of you that answer Gio would not be here, you would be correct. He is not going to be joining us tonight. You're not going to win anything, but good work.
Yeah, that was a pretty landslide poll there, wasn't it?
Yeah.
What are the current 90 to 10%?
Wow.
18
Well,
votes.
that extra 1% came back. We must have gotten like a Facebook tax return or something.
Yeah. For a while there was a 1% missing. Don't know why.
That 1% was probably someone that wanted to write the word corn dog but couldn't.
Yeah, the new polls are weird. It doesn't let you type in an answer here.
Which is fine. Which is fine by me. I really.
Well, yeah.
So
but it also doesn't. You can't see who voted.
Oh, you can't?
They just show a little, like the first 2 or 3 little bubbles of the people. Oh no, now you can. Okay, I'm just an idiot. Never mind.
Oh, okay.
There's a 1 pixel area you can click on to see who voted. Jeff Husted voted for, of course not.
Oh, Jeff Husted.
I miss Jeff Husted.
Me too.
He's big time now. They just signed
all these people that used to be our friends are now they're like big time. I mean they're
washing
they're
Ed
moving
Hale's
on to
car.
bigger and better things.
Well, bigger. Well, maybe not bigger. Better. Well, maybe not better.
Maybe.
Different things.
They're doing things.
They're doing things, yeah. So welcome MASL in the Box on our new time, on our new night. We're going to try a 7:30 start time for a while for Central for the foreseeable future. We may run into some times where there's Thursday night games. We'll have to do something. We should do a watch party. Now that the games are free and we're not giving away anything, we could do a watch party for a game.
Absolutely, I'm in. It's just not a game that I'm going to be at.
All right. Do you have any Thursday night games there?
What about next Saturday, Utica versus Harrisburg at Harrisburg?
We could do that. Well, wait.
Oh, you have a home opener, don't you?
Yeah, that would be a negative. I will be in the
Okay,
arena.
well then I guess I'll watch that on my own.
Figure one out here. We're just stalling for time. We can talk. I have a bunch of.
So yeah, today's show is just going to be kind of briefly going over a couple of the games, and then predicting this week's games. That's pretty much it.
I got some other things. What about new coach in Tacoma?
Oh yeah.
So Nick Pereira, I've talked to a couple of people at Tacoma. Nick Pereira is going to be focusing on playing, which I think is good for him and dangerous for the other teams in the West. Their new coach has a Class A or an A license, which is very good. You know, it's I got a message from one of the MASL naysayers, said, "Oh, their trainer is going to be their new coach. What's up with that?" But it turns out he has a lot of coaching experience, so that's perfectly fine. I think Nick was trying to do maybe way too much.
Right. Yeah. I think you could tell. A lot on his plate. Too many hats to wear.
Yeah. I prefer only one, because you wear two, and then where do you put the brims? Do you put it off to the side, or do you put it behind you? Or that string shouldn't be like that, should it?
I don't know.
But,
I tip my hat to you.
Yeah, there we go. I look forward to seeing what Tacoma has to offer. They haven't been really progressing as much as I thought they would be. So
yeah, I think Tacoma's going to be. I said this last year as well. I'm still on the Tacoma bandwagon. I think they're going to be one of those dark horses, especially with Vinny Dantas getting a full season under his belt out in Tacoma.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. We'll see.
Oh, and speaking of, the Live Source is doing an auction for the home opener jerseys.
Oh.
So go on Live Source and bid on that.
I did see that, yeah. We did
Vinny
have...
Dantas is already at $290. And I said, that's it, I'm out.
Yeah.
And yeah.
Yep, no.
What else? What else is going on in the league? Oh, MASL Primetime's back. I haven't had a chance to watch it yet.
I just watched it tonight. It is good.
It is good.
Hang on, I'm trying to talk to Coach Jules here.
Is that on YouTube?
Yes. It's not on the weird
Okay.
platform they had it on before. So it's just straight on YouTube.
All right, I'll have to watch the parts that don't involve a certain team in a certain game.
Coach Jules is getting a weird message, of course, I've never seen before.
Oh, good.
That
This is where the technical advisor hat goes on for Adam.
yeah. Kevin says, "Sorry, your boys got whipped, Matt. The crunch must have worn your boys out."
Probably, yes. And I'll say, well, Adam has a few things to say about the game, and I'm not going to really say much about it.
Yeah.
All I'll say is it was bad.
Yeah, that was so my one comment about the game. So one team looked like they played a game 21 hours previously and then traveled 6 hours in the middle of the night and was completely wiped out, and the other team was Florida.
Yeah.
Hey, we have progress here.
Well, that's good.
Hang on, Coach.
Well, that's good. I was about to kind of piggyback off of that, but thank goodness.
Ta-da. Coach
Yay.
Giuliano
Look at
Oliviero,
you.
welcome.
Good work, Adam.
We figured it out. We got it working. Can you hear
Can
us
you
okay?
guys see me, or
Yep.
Yeah,
We can see
you're
you.
good.
Can you see
I
and hear
cannot
us?
see you guys?
Oh, that's interesting. We can see and hear you fine.
Oh, that's good. At least it's one-way traffic.
Yeah, just don't do anything weird on camera because we can see
you
you.
don't want to see us anyways.
Gotcha.
You see Adam all the
I'm in.
time, and
I can see you.
Nice. Well, hello. Welcome.
How we doing, guys?
Good.
What's up,
good.
Coach?
Thanks for joining with your busy schedule. I know you're coaching like 7 or 8 different teams now, and
I'm actually out in Norco, California right now. Yeah, we got a girls' academy event out here, and that's I hope I'm on time. I know I had some technical difficulties, but yeah, we're out here in Norco. Great facility. Weather wasn't too great, 50s. You come out to California, you think you're getting out of the Wisconsin weather, and lo and behold, you get hit with rain and 55-degree weather. So
Yeah, that's no good.
I'll take that right now.
Well, yeah, Matt has 6 inches of snow up by him in Utica or Syracuse. So yeah. Yeah, we're planning on going out to San Diego to follow you guys in February. But
makes sense.
we just got so my wife just broke her foot, so trying to figure out what's gonna happen. We have a doctor's appointment tomorrow. We're gonna figure out what the long-term thing is. So she had 2 seasons in a row with some sort of surgery on one of her feet or another, and was missing a number of home games. So we're gonna try to avoid that this year if possible.
Take care of it now.
Yep. Yep, exactly. So, wait, it's Thursday night. You guys, you're in California, which is way over here, and you're playing way over here on Saturday. How's that working?
So yeah, basically, I got a game at 8 a.m. tomorrow, and then from there, about an hour and 30-minute drive. Hopefully, no LA traffic, and I'm on a flight, and players are going to fly out on their own, and I'll meet them Saturday morning. We got to kick around and prepare for Baltimore on Saturday night. But it'll be good to see the arena. We haven't been there in a couple of years, and if there's any arena that kind of gives you outside of Harrisburg probably a distinct home field advantage because of its size. I mean, some of our players have never seen it. We haven't trained on a field that size, so for us to get out there and kind of test the waters a little bit, even if it's only for 30, 45 minutes, just to see what we're getting ourselves into, I think it's going to be very beneficial.
Yeah, so I just watched the MASL primetime that came out today, and I didn't realize that last time the Wave have even played the Blast was the game before the championship.
2-1.
Yep, one of the most nerve-wracking. I mean, obviously for you probably even worse, but for the fans, we were all just on edge in that whole game.
It's crazy. Funny. I could rewind and go back into that, and it's like the whole week we're like, this isn't going to be a high-scoring game. But nobody would have predicted a 2-1 score, and the way that game went, it was everyone was on the edge of their seats, start to finish.
Yeah. And especially when so there was a game, I think I even might have been against the Blast earlier that season, where the guys just locked down on defense with like a 1-goal lead, and you're like, you're killing me. You guys are killing me. What do we do? And you won that, and then as soon as the second goal was scored, everyone backed off. I'm like, oh no, there's like 9 minutes on the clock. What's going on here?
Right? Yeah, it's tough, man, with the Blast and that experienced team that they had 2 years ago. And basically, you're looking at the past 10, 12 years. I mean, Jesus, so methodical, and Danny Kelly and now Bascombe, who was Danny's assistant. I mean, one little mistake or one little miscue, and they're just ready to pounce. So, kind of the motto of just don't beat yourselves. If they're going to get anything, let them earn it. And, I get you though. I was the guy on the bench freaking out.
But yeah, I mean, we're fans in the stands, and regardless of what happens, we still go home and with the same, we have emotions and everything, but not right there in the middle of the thick of things.
Yeah,
I'm just glad you guys beat Baltimore for us.
Somebody has to do it.
Well, Utica Baltimore is probably the new best rivalry in the league. So, I mean, it's exciting. I mean, that hopefully we can wear them down for you on Sunday.
Well, if I don't know, Florida tried wearing out, or Baltimore tried wearing out Florida, and look what happened. So,
Matt, what are your thoughts on that game last weekend?
Uh-oh.
Serious thoughts. Here we go.
Awful. So, two years ago, Utica played Mississauga on St. Patrick's Day and lost 9-3. That I thought was the worst game I'd ever seen. What I watched last Sunday pales in comparison to that. that was just poor showing. Just Florida had a great plan, executed it perfectly, and Utica did nothing.
Yeah. I mean, tough for them, right? Like that was 2 years. I don't know how many of Utica's players, Ben Raymond, Slav, how many participated in the league during the pandemic year?
4, well, Ben, Slav, Nate, Jake, 4.
And then Joey played with Florida.
Joey played Florida,
Yeah.
so 5.
It's a concern of mine heading into Saturday, just not knowing, hey, yeah, we've trained well. We feel we prepared well, but not having a game in 20 plus months. I mean, you just don't know what's going to happen.
And it wasn't just like it was 20 months. It was 20 months of 2020 plus another 12 months of 2021.
I'll say this, though, watching, I thought Hugo had 2 handballs outside the box at crucial moments that could have got you back in the game. That I don't want to talk about the referees, but I thought maybe
I mentioned that as well. I think I don't blame the refs that often. I mean, Utica deserved to lose the game. Don't get me wrong. I mean, after the way they played,
it
was awful. But that score shouldn't have been 7-1. There was a lot of ticky-tack calls that went in Florida's favor, and they scored on set pieces, scored on power plays, and it is what it is.
I felt there were a few moments in that game where either Hugo came up big or, like you said, the special teams are a big deal in our league, and they're often the difference between winning and losing. So, yeah, no, it was I'm sure it was disappointing.
Bless you.
It was going to be a bad game when Silva saved one off his head.
Yeah.
Thank you. He saved one directly off his face.
Yeah.
Like you knew right there it was going to be Florida's game because I mean he was just nuts.
He had. Did
he pump his fist after he did that?
I think so. Yes. Yeah, it was down at my end of the field. So yeah, I think he did.
He probably knocked himself out and didn't even remember the rest of the game after that.
Well, yeah.
Probably a better looking guy after taking that ball in the face.
Probably. Maybe. I don't know. I didn't get a chance to see him, but
yeah. I don't want to see. So I'll say it. We don't really want to talk bad about the refs, but a lot of us in the Milwaukee area know the head ref very well, and maybe aren't fans, and we'll just leave it like that. So the team is going to look a lot different this year. Talking about the Wave. Sorry, Matt, if you were done with talking about Utica.
No, that's fine.
We'll let you heal your, lick your wounds. And but there's a lot of. It's almost like the new Orlando Seawolves for a lot of the guys that have been signed and gotten reunited over the years.
You're not far off. We actually joke about it on a daily basis. 1, 2, 3. So before practice starts, you count and you look across and actually some good soccer players. I think they're in an environment where they can actually let their be a part of a kind of a process. We're not expecting to wow the world in one game, and we're going to build as the season goes on, and we feel like these guys got some really good ability, behavior, attitude, what they bring to training has been on my end very appreciative. I'm really happy with how they're training. Very impressed how they're coming together. They listen. They've been outstanding. So yeah, I get it. Orlando Seawolves, Cedar Rapids. Max and I were actually texting. Is this the Blast versus the Wave or Blast versus Rapids / Orlando? At the end of the day, these guys are good soccer players, and hopefully we're in an environment where, as the season goes on, we're getting better and we're progressing hopefully to the playoffs where we can kind of find our way. So we're
How's,
excited.
how's that old guy? What's his name? Ian Bennett. How's that old guy? Is he still moving around? Okay.
To quote IB26, I mean, he's just built different. It's what he tells everybody every day. So it's a classic, and there's a lot of truth behind it because I'm watching this guy before training, I'm watching him during training, I'm watching him after training, and the energy level, like, it doesn't go away. And the preparation and him working on his individual game to make us better as a team, just phenomenal. And Ian for the league is, I think, great. For the fans is great. For our overall product in the MASL, I mean, just outstanding. I mean, totally outstanding.
Yeah,
Can't
I think
say enough
we're
good-
fans. When we had Huffman on the first time, he said he thought, Ian maybe, oh yeah, he just gets lucky a couple times with those shots. And then he said there you go. He said he first practice Huffman was at, he saw Ian there before anyone, just kicking balls up in the corners and kicking them in the corners and kicking them in the corners. And he's like, oh, so he works at this every day. Okay, I see now.
He truly does. I mean, it's great. I mean, Huffman's driving from Chicago every morning, doesn't miss a session. Walking in early, seeing that, I mean, it just makes you want to be better, make yourself better, and overall that makes the team better. So, no, the environment right now that we're in, the players have been awesome. It's been great, but I mean, I'm sure Utica could turn around and say, hey, our preseason was phenomenal. It was awesome. And,
Nice.
when you go out there, you really don't know once that whistle blows and it's actually for real. We haven't had a preseason game. We've tried to replicate games in training and do all that, but you just truly never know. And now it's for real. And how players handle the pressure. I mean, we got some new talent. We were happy with our talent. We can talk about more players outside of those two organizations that have never even played a game of indoor that we're actually expecting some things from this year. So, I mean, we're excited. We just, we can't predict the future, but going into Baltimore, I mean, if we can get off on our front foot and have some success, we feel good about it. But at the same time, I mean, a lot of our players, myself, we've been around this game long enough that if it goes south, it can go south quickly. And indoor soccer is a game of runs and momentums, and how we get ourselves out of that is going to be important.
So Coach Bugart, I don't know who that is. I'm sure I know who that is, but I don't know who that is. He says, was preseason training different this year for the Wave since they had the year off? Did you have to train differently in the past? And I'll tag on to that. And how much has the new training facility changed without having boards in there?
We're kind of a hybrid. So we're at the Franklin facility, which is, I mean, it's a world-class facility for anyone that hasn't seen it in person. I mean, online, or it's first class. It's a professional environment. What's connected to it with Exos and the strength and conditioning program that we have going on in our program. I mean, first class. If we could, we'd be there every day. We do need boards to train and replicate what we're working on game day. So we're kind of a hybrid right now between an indoor facility and Franklin, and we just kind of base it on, what are we working on today? What our boards are extra important. It's a transition day. Maybe boards are not as important, but boards are always important every session. I can't say that we don't lose it if we're at Franklin. We need those boards, but it's been good. The guys have been really receptive, obviously, to have a facility and then have Exos strength and conditioning like connected and joined together, and one-stop shop to be able to take care of everything physically. I mean, they're ecstatic about that. Our players can't say enough good things. So the training environments, it's been similar. It actually has. So we're happy with where we're at.
Cool. All right, let me ask some hard questions. What's the goalkeeper situation?
Great question. Hopefully no one from Baltimore is listening. Hopefully Matt doesn't call Bascom after this.
Hey,
I don't have his number, so you're safe.
Can we block some of the Baltimore players or say fans from here?
Josh Lamos, the work visa situation's tricky. Commissioner Tozer, he's working on it. The league's working on it. And, we submitted work visas. Obviously, Utica did as well. And, Chamale got approved right away, first crack at it. So, we're happy to have him. And then Josh Lamos got an RFE and request for more evidence. And we're hoping early January that gets approved and he's ready to roll. We'll be 6 games in by that point. And, we miss him dearly. Like he's been, he did his ACL after we won the championship in preseason. We were good. We weren't as good without him. And he's just a very valuable member of the team, and we hope to have him back. To talk about the new guys, we're happy. Augie Ray he's from New Mexico. He went to school at UWM, so he's a Panther alum. He's actually their goalie coach currently, has a job in the area, and always been one of the top goalies in the area. So we got him out, and he's been really good. Another local kid, Antonio Gonzalez, played with the Milwaukee Torrent. We have him out, and he's a very young kid with a very good soccer IQ and reads the game really well and anticipates really well. I think he's got a really bright future. Matt Isehold is in the mix as well. From there, we got former Utica player, goalkeeper Matt Perella, who is such a character, such a good guy, such a positive attitude. And he's been in and out of Milwaukee. He hasn't been full time. What we've got from him so far has been great. We're happy with him. We've got some tough decisions heading into Baltimore. We've got some tough decisions heading early into the season on goalie performance. But overall, they've all done extremely well. And again, back to my point earlier, can they handle the moment, right? Perella's got the most experience, without a doubt. And just putting him in those pressure moments, how do you bounce back? Obviously, it's indoor. You want to say you're playing for a shutout, but are you playing for a shutout? How do you quickly move on to the next play after giving up a goal? And just, goal scorers miss an opportunity. How quickly can you brush it off and move on to the next play? Goalie gets scored on, same thing. How quickly can you brush it off and just focus on what's going to happen next? And that's what we don't know. So to say that, we're happy with how they all look in training, but now it's for real. So we don't know who's going to play on Saturday. We've had many discussions, and whoever it is, we're going to be extremely excited for them. We're going to support them, and the players in front of them are going to do that much extra to make sure that their first outing with the Wave is going to be a successful one.
Yeah, I want to ask you to name who's going to start, because we don't want to give that info out, because we don't want the blast scouts. I'm sure all watching our show right now.
Why don't we just say it now? It's going to be Ian Bennett, and move on from there.
He's not a tall. He's not. I don't know if he can get the crossbar.
Yeah. Get Andre in there then.
Oh. Big man's doing well. The big man's doing well.
So you said the players in front. So I know there's some questions on defenders with Chad and Drew obviously leaving over the last 2 seasons. Huffman with a suspension that we don't even have to get into that. Because I don't want to get him in any more trouble than he's already in. But and I know Wiedebach is injured. He's out like 6 weeks or so.
Yeah. Weedy was really coming into his own last season or 2 seasons ago when we played, and he was really busting. He was busting. He was working hard. He wanted to really grow from his last season, and unfortunate injury for him. Chamale, Stuart Grable, Marcio Leite, great signing. Tyler Turner, I believe he was with Utica. He's come in, and not sure if he's even played a game in this league, but he's a soccer player with a good soccer IQ, and he's a very good athlete. He's got some good pedigree, U.S. Youth National Team, Orlando City, MLS, played alongside Kaká. You just tell this guy's been coached before. He's been coached well, and we're excited for him. We're excited to have Chamale back. When his visa came through, we were ecstatic. Obviously, you know, when you talk about Marcio Leite, you're talking about one of the best playoff performers, maybe the best playoff performer in the last decade. We jokingly talk that his regular seasons and playoff seasons are so different. And coming into this season, it's like, we might need you to play every regular season like it's a playoff game, just so we're in the playoffs. So, no, it's good. I mean, Stuart Grable, local kid. You want to talk about a model of consistency? The kid's fantastic. The effort, continuing to grow as a player, everything you got. You know, it's indoor soccer. No one has 100% success all the time, but the way that guy, you know, treats the game and goes about his business is fantastic. We like the mix we have at the back. You know, we got a veteran in Douglas Dos Santos that is coming off of COVID, and fitness levels, you know, some people get hit differently from COVID, and his fitness level isn't where it could be. But you're talking about an experienced guy that's been there, and he's been through many big games. So at the back, we're happy. Obviously, Drew Ruggles, I mean, that guy could be the best defender in the league. He's got all the tools athletically, technically. You know, he's just fantastic. Chad, for me, I mean, that's a tough one to replace. Really is. I mean, he did all the little things so well. He made life hell for any forward in the league, not just on the defensive side, but when we won the ball, I mean, he would run a forward 40 yards up the field, you know, take his whole shift away. So yeah, those are big losses, tough to replace. But you know, Chamale, the last season I think that we played, he had a back injury for a lot of the season as well. So nobody truly knows how valuable he is and how good he is for our team.
We knew. So the first year that he joined with Josh and Robert Renault and those guys, there was I think it was in Chicago. It was a preseason game that somebody was streaming like on their phone. It was just really hard to watch. I'm like, who is this guy with the blonde hair and the blonde beard? And then I saw him handle the ball. I'm like, we want this guy on the team. Yeah, we're definitely a Chamale fan.
He's awesome. He's just, you know, I don't want to talk like the young guys, but he's just an awesome dude all the way around. I mean, fun to have around, never causes problems. He goes about his business off the field. You don't even know he's around, and then all of a sudden practice rolls around, there he is. And game rolls around, there he is. But outside of the game, like, he does his thing and causes no issues, and he's just been first class.
Nice. So the question that you probably know it's coming, and somebody asked it in chat already. So obviously with Josh, the footwork of the goalkeeper was a huge thing, and I know you're smiling now. You see the question. What are your thoughts on the new goalkeeper rule and how it's going to affect your gameplay?
At first, obviously, selfishly, it doesn't help us. You know, I think the big selling point of the rule is it's better for the league in the long run. I mean, the jury's still out on that, so we'll see. You know, if it's good for the league, great. Training it in practice, the differences, I think behind the yellow line, not much has changed. I mean, how many times can you cat and mouse somebody behind your yellow line? So really, the tweak to the rule after the fact, that where the goalie on a goal throw and goal save can get the ball back one time, behind the yellow line, it really hasn't changed. It's over the yellow line when, you know, you've built a 2-goal lead or a 3-goal lead and you want to drag a team out and play it back to the yellow line to your keeper. That's taken away, so defenders do have to be better on the ball. But we've worked through it through these first 3.5 weeks of preseason, and we found that not much has changed behind the yellow line. It's when you're in that possession mode and you want to keep the ball and you want to get changes and keep the opponent not being able to change, that's where I think it's going to have its biggest impact.
So I'm going to ask this on the basis of when he'll be coming back, not if he'll be coming back. When Josh is back in January, how much during the regular course of the game are you going to let him play past half field?
Josh is Josh. No, I trust the guy. Like, I think he's maybe only got caught with his hand in the cookie jar playing that game maybe once in all the years that he's been here. And I do remember the moment, but and it could have been a foul. And I'm not gonna, but I trust him, and he's got a good sense for the game, and if he wants to become that player over the midfield, I mean, obviously that's a discussion because it changes a lot, and everyone's got to be on the same page. Hey, Josh, I'm just going to go over midfield whenever I want. No, as a team, we all got to be on the same page, and I'm not opposed to it. But we'd have to train it. We'd have to go through it consistently, and there's going to be certain moments that we can get him over midfield. And when that happens, it's just great for the fans. It's exciting.
Oh, yeah.
What if there's a mishap? What are they going to do? Oh, there's Josh. He's actually over the yellow line, never mind midfield. Is he going to shoot? Is he going to pass? And, I mean, he's great for the game. I'll say that.
I mean, you've coached youth players so long. As soon as the goalie comes out, all the soccer moms go nuts and the dads go crazy. You're like, he's out of the goal. She's out of the goal. And it's the exact same in the stands. And when it gets, because Josh has the ability to, I don't know how he does it, but it looks like his ankle does this when he goes over the ball and back. And he burns so many players like that. And it's so fun to watch. And
It really is.
If it weren't for him, I'd be totally for this rule. But him and him alone are the reasons that I'm still on the fence about it.
If the rule wouldn't have changed, I wouldn't even thought anything of it. And when it did change, then you put a lot of thought into it. And I mean, like I said, the future is going to let us know if it's good for the game or not good for the game. But I mean, either way, it comes down to on our end, if this is how it's going to be, then we got to plan a little bit differently and prepare and make sure that not just our goalkeeper, but the players around him know what their roles become in certain situations.
Yeah.
Behind the yellow, in front of the yellow, over midfield.
Yeah, we've noticed in watching the couple games that some of the players, you can tell it's so ingrained in their minds to just like turn on, fire the ball, and take off or go for a change or whatever. Now they turn and they hesitate just a second. They're like, oh, I can't do that anymore. And then a couple of them got caught by it already.
Yeah, I mean, and look at the referees. I mean, this is the hardest game probably to referee. In defense of the referees, it's next to impossible to ref a perfect game. And now we're giving them one more thing to worry about. And like if you're focusing on a lot of different things at the same time, the last thing that a referee should be worried about, has anyone touched the ball since the goalie last released it?
Right.
It's like so many little things happening. It's tough. It's going to be tough for them. A coach could try and, bend the rules a little or find that gray area and shout it from the bench. And then the referee's going to have that in his mind. And it's just, there's so many, it's just hard to manage. It really is. But I'll be honest, watching the first few games going on this season, it seems like the referees haven't missed a beat on it.
Yeah, I like the fact, like you said earlier, I like the fact that they can throw the ball or roll it out as long as they distribute it with their hands. They still can get it back to them. Because I think without that, it would have just been every keeper just picks the ball up and chucks it down the field every time.
And then you know what? That's good. I'm glad you said that because that could lead to more 50-50 challenges, which leads to more injuries, and then workers' comp that a lot of organizations complain about. I mean. A lot of different things that go into it that you really never think about it, but I mean, the ability to have an option of putting the ball down, throwing the ball, both options. I mean, it's great for the game.
And Keith Tozer said it to me once that he wants to see more, and we saw this when we first started watching the games. Seriously, Marcel was the main keeper. Well, Marcel and Vorberg were switching off. First game we really saw that I really brought Mandy to was Marcel started, and one of the first times he got the ball, he just rolled it down his feet and dribbled it out past everybody. And we haven't really seen that too much. It's only like Reynoso in Sonora Monterrey used to play that when he was trying to get a ball out fast to score. And we really don't see that too often. I think maybe it would be exciting if that came back, because that's another thing where you got all these defenders around you who are, everyone's trying to man up and mark somebody, and the goalie just takes off right down the middle of the field, and everyone kind of looks at him, and then the crowd goes crazy. I'm looking forward to some changes.
I know exactly what you're saying. That quick rollout to yourself while maybe forwards are trying to find the defenders that got wide against the boards, and big gap opens up and jump into it. Yeah, no, that makes sense.
In my short foray as trying to be an indoor keeper over the age of 40, several years ago, I had someone almost score on me doing that. And it was at Eline, and he got all the way up and missed a dribble right towards the top of the arc, because the goalies can go all the way out to the arc there.
Yeah.
And I dove out and got it right to take off his feet, but everyone else just let him go by. Everyone was so worried about marking their man, and before they knew it, he was at half field, and then he's 2 steps further, and the guy who tried to get him couldn't. And they all yelled keep, and I'm like, well, thanks. That's what I want.
Well, how come you didn't try out for goalie this year? I mean, for the Wave,
because they're playing so.
You'd be a solid 1 on the depth chart, I think.
I'm one if there's points above me, decimals above me. But my two recommendations for if you want to ever play goalie, don't do it over the age of 40, and if you do, don't wait 27 years between games. Not a good idea, because I played as a kid and I hadn't played a single game until 42, and that was bad. You've had 2 neck surgeries, not a good idea. Just not a, and if you've never played goalie before at that point, not a good idea. So I don't want to bring up that. I was going to ask about suspensions. Let's skip that. Let's pretend that didn't happen.
But going back to the goalie rule, I mean, we're talking about Lemos. I mean, think about like St. Louis and the leadership that Paulo Nascimento brought in his first few years, and he might have, they might have used him more than we used Lemos. And I mean, to lose him, and then Greg Muir coming in as a brand new head coach. I mean, Paulo was healthy when he got there. Then Paulo got hurt, and I mean, I wonder if their entire game plan had to change because of that injury.
I think it did. I mean, they were lost in those first 2 games.
Yeah,
they put together a really good quarter in the second quarter of the first game against KC, and I think the game against Dallas really helped them out to jumpstart things for them. But I have St. Louis fans going, "Oh, it'll be great if we can, beat you guys next, and then we'll be, 4-1." And I'm like, "No, stop it right now."
It's funny. We were on a coach's call Tuesday night, and Pablo was on it, and God bless him. Great guy, great human being, and was an excellent player for the Wave. It's like, Paulo, how long is it going to take before your jersey's back on over your shoulders? And he's like, no.
Yeah, because we were talking about Pablo has gotten just a little bit excited. We'll use the word excited when he plays, so I can imagine him on the bench.
It's interesting. He's surrounded by a couple extra former Wave guys, Fabinho and Ricardinho.
Yeah,
which was fun to see. Both won championships with us over the years, so that's nice. Coaching staff looks well in place.
Yeah,
Eddie Parrish does their commentary. Former Wave player, does a great job. I thought he did a really good job. He was great. When I was a young player, he was someone that I had a lot of fun with learning from.
Yeah, Fabinho kicked the ball out to one of my kids early on. I think it was his last season on the Wave for like the pregame thing. They got to do the opening kickoff thing.
Oh, I thought you meant he actually kicked it and it hit one of your kids.
No. Now that was Shamale. When he scored a goal, he signed the ball and he punted it straight at my wife's face, and she caught it off the chin as she caught it, but she did catch it. And we went
Well, there you go.
we went and saw, after game autographs. He immediately stood up and said, "Oh my God, I'm so sorry." I'm like, "Well, could you even see?" He goes, "Yeah, I saw exactly what." And as soon as I kicked it, I'm like, "What am I doing?"
Oh, jeez.
Got a question from Aaron Bennett. What's the word on Chino?
Chino, just visa issue. His value to us is the Milwaukee Wave. I mean, it's one of our top players.
Same with
not-
Isaac.
Isaac, exact same thing. Isaac, it's just tough not to have those guys. They bring so much to our team, and it's just, when you got players that bring different strengths to a team, it's kind of what makes a team, right? And those two, I mean, their work ethic is second to nobody's on the team. I mean, their ability to pressure, their ability to recover, do the dirty work that other people don't always do, to make up for other players' mistakes just through their hard work. I mean, trust me, man, if there's something we could do on our end to have those two on the field, there'd be no hesitation.
I think a lot of fans, and we've seen some of the comments on some of the posts, and both from the Wave and from the league, and it's not even Wave fans, it's every fans, think that like the team isn't doing enough work. Like, well, the team needs to sign Josh because he's going to be the team. Why isn't the team getting him in a contract, and why aren't they getting him here? And as many times as I can, I say it's completely out of the team's and even the league's hand at this point.
Yeah, no, I mean, it starts at the top. I mean, it's the MASL. I mean, how do we become more recognized as a league on the professional level? I mean, that's where it starts, and hopefully with the new leadership, that turns around sooner than later, and we're hoping for that. I mean, for us, we followed every protocol. I mean, honestly, to not have those guys right now, I mean, put yourself in my position where you walk out of a dressing room after your pregame talk and warm up, and you're walking on the field feeling good and feeling confident because of players like that that are true professionals and bring it day in and day out. So the government, immigration, however you want to say it, I mean, we're approving the visas, and now some get approved and some don't. It's just very inconsistent, and we're do our best for all those guys. We really will. But yeah, I think it starts at the top, and hopefully the new leadership finds a way to really get our league on a platform and recognized as a top professional league.
Yeah, I mean, it is the top level of indoor soccer in the world. So
Absolutely.
there's no higher level you can go to and say, here's our parent league or anything like that. But another question that came up the other day, chat with some fans. What about Ollie Berry? Is he back or is he?
No, he's training with the team. He's still trying to earn a contract, and he has his ups and downs and level of consistency as a young player, and we continue to monitor him and watch his play, and we're all rooting for him. We think he can bring some good things. It's up to him to find that level of consistency on a daily basis. We want to. If we're going to put someone in a uniform and not know what we're going to get, it's kind of scary. So we just want to, it's a trust thing when you put these guys on the field. Are they going to deliver? When you don't know it, it's not easy as a coach. And then if he gets rattled, then teammates get rattled, and it's back and forth. So he's working hard. He wants it. He's there every day. So time will tell.
And on the same note, how's Gordy doing?
Gordy, great kid.
Yeah.
In my I think this is my 8th season. coaching. If you told me I would be coaching Gordy Gerson, I probably would be like, no, that's not going to happen.
Well, Gordy Gerson and Derek Huffman, how's that?
Yeah, no, I can't disagree with you. We can talk about Derek in a minute, but Gordy's been awesome. He gets it. He's been around the block, I'm hoping that he wants team success, and he says all the right things, and I like what I'm seeing from him. And on our end, we want the best for Gordy. We want Gordy to have his best year in the last 5 years. I mean, we want to say, hey, you know what? You came to Milwaukee, thank you, and in return, you had a great season, and I think he's building towards that. I think he's working hard every day. He's got a little bit of an injury right now, but nothing that's going to slow him down on Saturday. And I like what I see. Did I like coaching against him? No, for many different reasons. He punished us by putting the ball in the back of the net. Did he embellish at times and drive me crazy? Like, yeah, so many reasons I was like, oh boy. But again, we're talking about 3.5 weeks of preseason, and you know what? We like what we see, and now if there's someone that we know can take it from the practice field to the game field, it's Gordy. And Derek, I mean, the maturity of Derek and the way he handles himself day in and day out, fantastic. I mean, he had a great outdoor season with the Chicago House. He's walked into our preseason and dominated our preseason.
Nice.
So not having him on Saturday, it's a kick in the teeth. But it is what it is, and you know what? We have confidence in other guys and believe that they can get the job done. But the moment Derek's cleared to play, I mean, we're expecting him to have a really good season.
Yeah, he and I got into it a lot because he would put those videos out, and he called me out a couple of times and said he was going to bring a bunch of his friends and one of my band shows and boo us and stuff like that. And when he signed, I was like, "Are you kidding me?" And then I'm like, "You know what? Let me just." And he sent a Twitter message out saying, "Fans, it was all business in the past. I'm black and yellow now. I'm all for the team." And I sent him a message. I'm like, "Hey, we've had our issues in the past. What about a truce? What do you say we take the opportunity to do a funny photo op?" And I got one of him hitting me over the head with a corn dog. So I mean, what a better picture would that be? And
that's awesome.
Now he and I talk all the time. Probably gonna get him on the show here again for like the 6th time or something soon.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
For sure. Adam, I kind of feel like we're leaving Matt out of the conversation. I want to know more about Utica.
Well, you'll find out in I think it's December, January.
January.
No, it's we'll see how they bounce back on Sunday. I think you're going to see a completely different team. And of course it's against Baltimore, so the rivalry's there. The fans are going to be going nuts. So where about more
for you
than Baltimore did Florida.
But not like overtime wearing them out. Like give them 5 or 6 minutes of 0-0, and then we'll just start scoring, and that'll be the end of that. How's that?
Well, do what you got to do. Do what you got to do. Just have Baltimore come up to Utica, tired and sad, and hopefully that'll do the trick.
There you go. That's the easiest thing. Opening first game in 20 months, playing against Baltimore Blast. No problem.
I heard Ed Hale bought a bus.
I did hear that. I heard that as well. Yeah. I'll have to see if I can find the bus. I'll take a picture of it.
Yeah, do that. That'd be great.
Does it have his picture on the side?
Yeah.
So Matt, what questions do you have for Coach Jules?
So the only one I can think of, and I know he's got to run here soon. So I mean, you've been around the league for quite a while, so you have a lot of memories of like games as a coach, games as a player. Like, is there a game that like sticks out in your mind, like one of your favorite like moments?
Oh, 100%. As a player and having not won a championship until my 10th season in the league, it was definitely 2005. We played the Cleveland Force. So started in Milwaukee. I was playing outdoor in Montreal. Montreal got indoor and outdoor. My wife, girlfriend at the time, fiance, was from Montreal. So like, Coach Tozer, do you mind? I'm going to go play indoor, outdoor, be in one place year round. So I went to Montreal, lasted 3 years, stayed in Montreal, played outdoor, went to a dispersal draft, went to Cleveland. Cleveland crunched the first year. My second year, we were the Cleveland Force. Got back to Milwaukee after that. So I came back in 2003, 2004, thinking we were going to win a championships, and just learning that, man, to win a championship, it takes a lot of things to fall into place. We had a great season. We went all the way to the final. We won the regular season, which isn't easy to do. And we played Baltimore in the final, and they swept us 3 out of 5. And it wasn't like 1-goal games. It was, am I allowed to say, an ass kicking on? You
could say all
Oh,
sorts.
yeah, go nuts.
All sorts.
It was an eye opener for me as a player that wasn't a young player anymore, and just really like what it truly meant to win a championship and the sacrifice and everything that goes along with it that you hear from players that have won championships before. So the following year, back at it, and lo and behold, when the playoffs rolled around, Cleveland Force was the best team in the league. Omid Namazi was coaching them. They just hit their stride at the right time, and we got them in the final 2004-2005 season. And going into it, I mean, they were just rolling. They were rocking and rolling. And we got them in the first game. We went down 6-1 at home. And Greg Howes put on a show. Got it to 6-6. Next thing you know, we're in overtime. We won 10-9. I believe Michael King scored the winner. So we get a week off. We go to St. Louis, game 2. Back then, it's like whoever had the TV deal got to host, and Cleveland didn't get a TV deal. So St. Louis hosted way before anyone knew who was going to be in the final. So we got game 1, went to game 2, and again, I was dealing with a hamstring injury. They had just named either the championship MVP after Hector Marinero, who was former teammate, not only with the Crunch Force, but also in Canada. He's like, I was dealing with a hammy, and first game I was just non-impact. I didn't have any impact on the game. Not positive, not negative, but no impact. And he's like, suck it up, man. Like, this is a once in a lifetime. Like, you don't know what's going to happen next year or beyond. I went in that second game, had 3 goals and 2 assists. We were down 9-7 late, and we got it to overtime. And Todd Dosowski scored the winning goal. I still remember it was my first championship, Marcelo Fontana's first championship. He was on his knees praying, like, if you could have seen him, like, it was. And that would be the one moment in one game that really stood out, because that was my first one. And it was so hard to win. Like, those 2 games and the year before and the years past, like, you just never truly believe you can be a champion until you actually are a champion. So, and they say once a champion, always a champion. I got to win 2 more with Marcio and Ian and Tenzin and a lot of the guys, Nick Vorberg, obviously, who's a very good friend, and they were outstanding. They're all so special. But till you win that first one and you're not quite sure if you have it inside you to actually win it, no, that one meant the most. That was the game. That was the series. It was fantastic as a player.
So you brought up Tenzin, and Aaron asked, he said he loved the addition of Tenzin to the coaching staff. Because it's good to see Tenzin back. I haven't seen him in a while. What does that mean for the announcing team? You see where I'm going with this question?
You know what? I thought about that. I'm like, geez, am I hurting us? Am I hurting the organization in another way? And I'm like, I just thought Tenzin was the best man for the job. Cello was amazing. Cello got an opportunity with Orlando City with the youth program, and he took it, and we're happy for him. And we miss his experience, but I mean, Tenny's come in. He's been hands-on right away. First guy at practice, helping young guys. He's a calming voice, giving some really good coaching points when they're needed. So he's been great. He's been super helpful, and we're excited to have him.
Probably showing everybody how to kick a bicycle kick out of,
Right.
of a goal. Yeah.
Not offensively, only defensively.
Yeah,
only defensively, of course. Yeah.
I thought he was going to come back. I understand why he retired, obviously, but he tore his ACL in like the first half of the first quarter of the first game of the season that one year, and then was out the whole year, and then retired. But I think he was always one of the strongest defenders, but would only have like a goal a season or 2 goals a season. And they were always like some weird, a lot of them were like breakaway empty netters or something like that, where they would go back and forth between a couple guys, and he just happened to get the last pass. So it's good to see him back.
No, for sure. I mean, he's a player that's played every position, I think 7-8 years with us. And he was a target forward. He was a midfielder. He's second forward, finished his career at defender. So, I mean, no, it's really great to have him back. And I don't know if you know how he did his ACL. We were celebrating.
Oh, yeah.
We were celebrating a goal, and Lemos came, and Lemos's knee caught Tenzin in the back of his knee during a goal celebration.
Oh, yeah.
And that is how he did his ACL.
I remember it was a celebration, but with everything going on and like lack of replays and things, even on the broadcast, there really wasn't an angle of what happened. That's not good.
Yeah, it was strange.
Yeah,
but no one thought it was an ACL when it happened. Like nobody. So it was a tough blow to Tenny, first game of the season. But I mean, the guy's just all around. He's got it together. So he's great. That we're just happy that he wants to continue with the Wave and be involved at all. So it's great for us.
You happen to know who's taking over? Is a certain person coming back, or do we not want to talk about that for his broadcasting job?
I have no idea. My guess is no on your side, but who's going to replace Tenzin? I don't even know. Tom Wynn's just so fantastic. I mean, we're lucky. We got the best in the business. It helps to have that soccer voice and giving fans that perspective on what just happened. I mean, honestly, if it was just Tom, I mean, I remember back in the day when he traveled with us, and he was on radio, and I could listen to a full game of Tom on the radio. So we're lucky to have the best in the business, and if it's just Tom, I'm happy. If the organization decides to put a sidekick, which I'm thinking might happen, but I can't say yes or no to that, because it's really, I mean, it's been so much time getting the team ready that hasn't even crossed my mind. So
yeah, that's not, yeah, and I mean, I just asked. I didn't want to name names because it's kind of a sensitive situation, as we all know. But Matt, I'll fill you in on what's going on with that offline. What was that?
He did a fantastic job as well. It
was neat to see Tenzin call the games, because he came in from 1 year out of the game. He was only 1 season out of playing. There's some of the guys that are announcing out here played 20 years ago, and the game's very different. But he's talking about a lot of the things that you guys, it's almost like the secret communication between, the players and coaches talk about. It's like, oh, he's doing this, reverse triangle, or whatever the magic thing is.
Adam, that's a great point. It's funny because I really enjoyed listening to Leith Tesantrit in Baltimore during the Florida game, because obviously Baltimore is our first opponent. But listening to him, and like, to your point, he's been out of the game forever, but all his points were spot on and made sense. But Tenny having the inside scoop, I mean, it does make a difference.
Yeah, there was a couple things he said. I'm like, it sounds like you're giving away secrets there. So slow down, settle down. Mike DeSilva says hi. We need him back.
Great guy. I thought we had him. I thought he was going to stay. I mean, I think we got outbid by Kansas City. So
yeah,
Mike's got a college job in Wisconsin, and we were looking forward to having him. And I think he had a really good experience in Kansas City, and we respect that. And it's a guy that you wish all the best to.
Yeah, one of the good
way
guys
to go,
sure.
Mike.
Maybe we'll have Mike on the show one of these days. Maybe not. It depends on how nice he is to us.
No.
Yeah.
Hey, I know you said you had a time crunch. Are you out of time here?
I am probably 8. I'm good for 8 more minutes.
Oh, okay. All
Wow.
right.
Okay, cool.
So there's
What
kind
time are
of
you guys on till?
well, so we started this Matt actually started this idea in COVID of he was going to go through every week and choose a different team to kind of recap the season. And the second week was the Wave, and now we've been doing this ever since. Right towards the end, he's like, "Want to do this every week?" I'm sure. I got nothing going on, so we started Friday night shows. We've had a 4.5-hour show before.
Wow.
And yeah, we're not going to do that tonight. And
No.
we were doing it on Friday nights because there were no games. And then once the season finally started, there were Friday night games, so we moved it to Mondays, and that it put us in check to not have too long of a show. But we'll talk about a couple things after you're off, and just general things in the leagues, and I'll complain about some broadcast quality and stuff like that, Baltimore. But yeah, otherwise it's we've been trying to do like 2 hours for a show.
Gotcha.
But
Usually.
I mean, when we had Huffman on, at some point in like the 2.5-hour mark, he thought we wanted to wrap up, and I'm like, well, we have nothing really going on. He goes, oh, you guys don't have anything to talk about. If you guys have all night, well, I'm sure we can talk. And all of a sudden it's 4.5 hours later. Like, what just happened?
And it wasn't just one show, it was multiple shows. I think he holds the record for like the 3 longest shows we've ever had.
Yes.
You know what could break that record? Talking about the Utica home opener.
Matt's going to hang up at any moment if we.
Well, so the Utica home opener, I'm just going to say this. The mascot has to go.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is.
It's
it's no Brad Beach, and I don't know what it is.
Yeah, I don't.
So
I can't envision it right now for some reason.
So imagine a combination of, remember the old Land of the Lost shows when we were kids? Imagine that thing, plus like almost a dragon thing and a dinosaur thing with a big giant head and big giant eyes. Or yeah, somebody said the chupacabra in the chat.
So my kids are 8 and 5, and they were at the game, and they said, "Daddy, that's creepy."
Yeah.
So if that's any indication.
I got a text from Matt right away with the something I probably shouldn't repeat on the show here.
It was a WTF moment where I'm like, I can't do this. I hope it goes away, but apparently it's not. So,
Just got to tell Tom.
Yeah,
we'll take care of it.
I mean, the fans were out in full force. I mean, you've been there.
It's one of the best arenas in the league to play in. Our players love it.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't enjoy it when you guys came the last time, but
are you guys still doing the Neil Diamond in the fourth quarter? Where the whole
well, that's when we're winning, and not yet this year. So, but I'm sure this Sunday it'll come out.
Yeah,
hopefully.
That's phenomenal.
Yeah, but it's completely different than Syracuse. Just the environment. The environment's completely different. The beer garden's great.
What about Coughlin's mustache with in the ponytail? What's with the
I don't know.
That has to go.
I don't know. It's
new Hoxie of the league.
Kind of creeps me out a little bit. I don't mind the little man bun he has going on, but The mustache, I don't know. I don't know. I hope it's not like a playoff mustache or something like that. But
Looks like he drew it on with a Sharpie right before he went on field.
it does. It does look like it has been drawn on. But yeah, that arena, and I've been to a lot of arenas. Utica's one of my favorites, of course.
It's a great environment for players. I mean,
Yeah.
as a visitor to that arena, I mean, you actually feel like a true professional when you're inside that arena and you're getting heckled and fans are right up against you. And Sweet Carolina in the fourth quarter, it's phenomenal.
Yeah. So the shortened year, you guys were supposed to come back and play in Utica, and we had some of the fans and myself. We had made Utica Club beer jerseys because it was the Lager Derby, and we were going to wear it at the beer garden during that game. But unfortunately, COVID hit, and that was one of the games that got canceled. But
Important game. It was a lot of
that
teams.
was going to be a very important game. Yeah.
That was like one of the hinges on all the playoff scenarios. That
It
one
was
game.
second. It was second and third
Yeah.
at that point.
Because Harrisburg was in the conversation as well.
Yep.
And Baltimore.
Scotty Fellows wants to know what your favorite arena is. We'll assume Milwaukee's number one. What's your second favorite arena?
Geez, that's a great question.
Oh, he says of all time.
Of all time. Geez, I got to play at Kemper in Kansas City before they moved to, I'm not sure what it's called now. It's the San Diego Arena has always been great. Utica's fantastic.
You played at the Convocation Center too, right?
Yep, that was nice. Geez. Yeah, the old Baltimore Arena was nice. Wish they were still there. There's just a lot of history in that arena. Yeah, that's a tough one. Current, I would say Utica, for sure. Just because of the atmosphere. Not sure Florida. Florida would probably say the same thing right now.
That will be brought up as well.
Yeah. We had a lot of fun in Kansas City. We went there for the All-Star. Matt and I met up for the first time in person at the All-Star game in Kansas City. I like their arena a lot.
I didn't say the Farm Show Arena.
Yeah, I noticed that.
That was man, that you talk about distinct home field advantage. Holy, going in there is like, I think Carl shuts the heat off in the visiting locker room, lets you freeze, and then you walk out, it gets even worse.
Well, they're moving back to the horse equestrian one again.
Yeah, Farm Show's an interesting arena.
It's awesome. Like it is distinct home field advantage.
Jason says the Bradley Center. So I hold the distinct honor of playing a soccer game at both the Milwaukee Auditorium and the Bradley Center, and playing several music concerts at the Milwaukee Arena, which is now the Panther Arena, which was back then Mecca Arena. So I was always in the All City Music Festivals in Milwaukee because I went to Milwaukee Public Schools, and we would always do a yearly or every other year music festival on the arena floor. So I got to play in front of. I actually got to play. I was in orchestra and cello, and I played bass in the jazz ensemble. So I got to play bass in front of like 8,000 people. That was cool. And soccer, we got to play. We followed a little tour with the Wave. We got to play in the auditorium. We got to play one of the first games I ever played in the Bradley Center, and then we got to follow them to, I think, Chicago, and it was Kalamazoo Kangaroos. I remember that team. Watch the Wave games after that. Here's my little claim to fame in soccer, and that's it.
That's awesome. Honestly, hey, Adam, one of the best, Matt might not know this, best experience for myself and players. May 19th, 2019, walking into the championship game late afternoon on a beautiful day in Milwaukee. And the band was 5-star.
I heard they were okay.
5-star.
I heard they were okay that day.
So the funny thing about that was it May 19th or was it May 5th?
May 5th.
May 5th,
I think
yeah.
May 5th.
I'll never forget that date. And we talked to Huffman, and he had been heckling me all the time, and then he found out that I got to play the opening. He was like, "That little shit." He goes, "I can't believe it." But yeah, it was really funny. So we've had the I want to say the October before that, we decided to take some time off to do recording, and then things happened, life happened. My wife had a foot surgery at that point, so I wasn't able to really do much, having to drive the kids around and everything. And we got the call like Tuesday. Noel from the Wave office called and said, "Hey, can Underground Hive play the pregame party for the show Sunday?" And I said, "This Sunday? Like 4 days from now?" She's like, "Yeah." And I'm like, "Give me 30 minutes, I'll get back to you." So I called each of the guys and I said, "Guys, is there any way we can put together an hour and a half set between now and Sunday?" And they're like, "Sure, let's do it." So we hadn't played as a 4-piece in almost 6 months before we played that show.
Wow. You guys were great. And honestly, it started the day really well, got us going. I thought it was fantastic. Walking in there was our players felt special.
That was a lot of fun. It was 75 degrees outside.
It was just everything was perfect about that day.
Half the times in Milwaukee in May it's snowing and still, I know you know this, all the spring soccer gets pushed back and pushed back and pushed back, and kids are practicing on like gym floors that they can rent out from middle schools and things like that, and then all of a sudden the season starts and it's over in 6 weeks. And yeah, that was a special time. Mike and I, Zimmer and I were actually talking about doing it again if it happened again. Well, when it happened again for the 2019-20 season, but that got all shut down. So we have to figure out something here.
No, for sure. For sure.
We'll put more practice in this. The nice thing is we've been in a band for we just hit our 10th year, at least for two of us, and most of us have been in for 7 or 8, and so we can put together. We didn't play as a band for almost 2 years with COVID things going on, but we kept up. We did a weekly Zoom meeting and all that other things, and it was fun.
Maybe Utica will fly your band out, play in the arena.
There we
Utica.
go.
I don't know if there would be room for him. Maybe the other 3 guys, but not him. You'd have to play outside.
All in Wave jerseys.
Yeah, I was just gonna say I got the jersey already picked out. It's the Huffman jersey.
Of course it is. No. Yeah, you guys can come out, I guess.
I think we're out of time. Oh, Scotty wants to know how was it to beat Chili Farias that day? A little bit of a revenge from the game against La Raza.
Yeah, you know what? It's funny, and I'll end it on this because I got to go. But we had a press conference. The Wave had a press conference. Monterey was invited. Mike Zimmerman put it together. He started it off, and he got it going, and kind of Van emceed it, and it went down the chains a little bit, and we were talking, and my turn came up, and I stepped to the podium. Really, to win a championship, it starts at the top, and we're fortunate enough to have an owner that wants to win. He's got a winning mentality, and it starts there. And then I look over to my left, and I had a few other people to talk to and thank, and to thank my team. And I saw Chili out of the corner of my eye, and I just couldn't resist. I mean, hey, you kicked our ass once. It's not going to happen again. He turned that whole game around, and that was a championship that we let slip through our fingers. And, you go back, and if there's a game that you could take back, I mean, if you could give me one of those quarters back, I'd be like, geez, we would have won that game. But that's interesting. Scotty asked that because, I mean, Chili was the difference maker in that one game championship that we even got to host. So that one hurt. That one stung. I mean, we had a 4-goal lead, I think, at one point.
Yeah, that's right.
God knows his stuff, man. If we're gonna miss him. Scotty huge for our organization. I'm his biggest fan, and what he's done. He's actually done everything. He's been a babysitter for the Oliviero family. So that guy is just first class. He'll give you the shirt off his back. And I'm glad he's happy in Dallas. And if he stays there, fantastic. And if he comes back, I hope he's back with our organization.
We need someone to babysit the refs in the box.
Right?
He's not going to be able to do it anymore.
I don't know who's working the clock this year.
Hopefully somebody. Maybe that'll be the pregame little game that they play. Everyone gets on the field and does a dizzy bat to see who gets to run the clock for the game. All right, Coach. Thank you very much for joining us. We really appreciate it.
Man.
Thanks, Coach.
Thank you.
All right. Good luck this
We'll
weekend.
talk soon.
All right, guys. We'll see you.
All right.
See
See you
ya.
later. All right. We are back.
Now back to them.
Now, back to them. For those of you who didn't see, I wonder if I can get this. Figured out here.
Gosh, I hate sneezing and blowing my nose, and
Yeah, it's
I don't know what it is. It's maybe talking about the Utica game made me
maybe you're allergic to
itchy and
you're
sneezing.
allergic to whatever happened at the Utica game.
Yeah, when he mentioned like taking a game back, if you could take one game back, I think I would take back that game.
Yeah, I could see it. I could see it for sure. All right, I'm gonna try something here. Hopefully the audio will work.
Is this for those of you that missed it?
For those of you that missed it, this is our new intro video, and I want to apologize to Eric Bergerud. We are not kicking you out as the MC for our little show here, but maybe just a temporary replacement, or we can put something else in the rotation.
Here's what we should do. Since he is all about taking the time out, maybe he could have something to do with our timeout segment.
We could do that. That would be a good idea. Or I could just rotate videos. We could do a different one every week or something.
Whatever.
But for those of you who missed
whatever
it,
you want. You have the power. I have exactly. You are He-Man of sorts. I guess.
All right. Here is the our new intro video. Here we go.
Now it's time for In the Box Live with Matt, Adam, and Gio. These guys got more hits than a Celine Dion CD. Take it away, boys.
Everybody get.
All right, technical difficulties. It was
But
all
it's okay. Just rewind after the show.
Yeah.
Just rewind to the beginning.
Just rewind to the beginning. That'll do it. After the show, rewind to the beginning, and you'll be able to see it.
And if you have not done it, no, this one.
Is there?
Oh, it is this one. I was
Yeah.
right.
Yes. Click the like button, hit the subscribe button. I will say it right now. We are doing a corn dog giveaway. I will mail out it's too far away. I will mail out one of these corn dogs to the 200th subscriber. Or at the 200th subscriber, we'll do a drawing for it or something. I also want to do some trivia.
Or something.
Scotty, hit me up at some point. You can give me some trivia questions, and we can do like a trivia, and the winner gets a corn dog. Like that. I found out they have a 4-inch version of the corn dog, but it's been sold out for years. But I want to see if I can get my hands on some of those.
So, yeah. So what are we going to talk about now?
So it's something that you talked about in your decompression video from after the game, and I want to say something about the Florida players. So we have mocked very, very openly mocked Florida organization over the past year, almost 2 years of doing these shows. Has it really been 2 years?
Yeah.
Crap. I'll let that sink in for a second. And we've joked about we wanted Florida to lose with this, that, whatever thing. The Florida players and coaching staff have done just an amazing job over the last 3 seasons, we'll say. You include right now the COVID season and the 2019-20 season. It's I don't think I don't know if there's been a better run in 3 seasons so far than what Florida's done. San Diego probably got close, but there are players that I would consider I'm friendly with, former Wave players and others. Obviously, we're a big Ricardo fan. One of us more than others.
Well, so that almost that almost changed Sunday. I will say that, but they have made amends.
Oh, that's good.
But yeah, you're absolutely right, and it was great seeing Coach Clay Roberts come over and give Hannah a fist bump. I think Florida has kind of taken Hannah in under their wing, and I'm sure you were just about. I'm sure you were gonna. You know what? Just keep going.
Okay.
Because I know where you're going with this.
Yeah. And part of it is the fact that Ian played there last year, and we heard just the way he was treated and the way he was brought in and how everything worked together and their work ethic was just like second to none. I'm glad things worked out. You know, everyone is like, "Oh, Ian's going to leave the Wave now. He's going to Florida." I'm glad that didn't happen. I'm glad he's back home. But I think we need to give more respect to Florida as a team. And I really, really, to follow this up, I really wish they would take that one step further and present the product to the rest of the league in a better way. It's just, you look at the turf, that broadcast, the lack of fans, and these players deserve a million times better.
Yep.
And
I agree 110%. And, you know, it's funny, watching the Baltimore show that Brad and that other guy had yesterday.
Is that why he's not here tonight? Oh, we went over that. So, yeah, Gio's not on the show tonight because Ed Hale told him he couldn't be on our show if he was going to do his show.
Yeah, so he's washing his car again. But they did mention this on their show that Florida played in front of more fans that night than they will the entire season. And I agree 110%. From what I've been told by players of Florida, apparently there's a lot of competition around. And you know, I that's not an excuse, really. I mean, you have outdoor soccer in Florida 365 days a year. I think there needs to be someone has to tap into that. And I mean, on Twitter, I even went on Twitter and I tagged the Florida Tropics. I tagged some of their fans and I said, listen, you guys need to step up your game. You need to bring more fans in. The players deserve that. And I received no response at all.
Because there's no one to talk to. Yeah. Well, and
so
it doesn't help when you hear things like, oh, the Florida organization wouldn't let any of their players go to the All-Star game because they were so focused on trying to win the 7-team mini league last year that they wouldn't let their players go to an All-Star game in fear of getting injured or sick. Now, I understand the whole COVID thing. I thought they did a really good job. In fact, One of the players who I happen to sit almost right next to on the plane was sent back home immediately with COVID.
Yep.
So they did a really good job of keeping everything contained, making sure everyone got tested, making sure there were no, masks on at all times. They gave the players the masks to wear during the games and things. And I think they did a really good job at that. But I think what they're trying to do is they're trying to buy a championship and then say, look, we won this championship. Now come and see our games. And there's way better ways to try to get people in.
100%. And you're seeing that in certain markets. I mean, Utica's back doing the commercials. Dallas is starting to do their little commercials as well. Like, I think that would be a great idea for Florida.
Dallas may have the best social media of all the teams.
I think best social media, 100%.
Yeah.
I think when it comes to the content, I think Utica is a little better, but something. Take a 30-second ad out a major TV station and be like, oh, the Florida Tropics are playing the 18th against the Ontario Fury, and buy one get one free or something like that.
Buy one get one free corn dogs.
I think they're going at it the wrong way.
Yep.
And those players, I talked to one of the players after the game Sunday, and he's like, this is amazing. Like, being in front of a sold out crowd. And I'm like, yeah, I know. You guys deserve that at home.
Yeah. And I know there's been a lot of talk about location. I know that was even worse for Orlando, this location, but I know they've been talking about the location. They've been talking, I mean, if you're in Florida and the weather is really great, you want to go to an indoor sport, that's probably not your first choice, so that you need to work extra hard.
Then, make it like they do in Mexico.
Well, there's a lot of rain in Florida. Retractable roof.
Yeah. Or just have two people holding up a tarp over the thing.
That would work, yeah. But
yeah. But I think Florida ownership needs to take a step back and look at it from a bigger picture.
And I'm going to say this again. Watch the Kansas City broadcast. Of the broadcasts we've seen this year, watch Kansas City, St. Louis, Utica, and watch the broadcast side by side with one of yours, one of the Florida broadcasts. And it's just, there's so much different. There's no energy. It's just the turf makes everything look bad. The weird camera angles.
That turf is a complete turnoff.
Yeah. And and Jay, our good friend Jay over at MJSL, who's strangely silent in the last few weeks. So
I know it's kind of weird.
Either moving to Thursday worked or it didn't work, depending on how you look at it.
Right.
He has said, and other people have said this exact same thing. Imagine you're one of the fans, the casual sports fan that doesn't know anything about indoor soccer. You're flipping through channels or streams or online or whatever, and you see the product for the first time. If you see a Florida broadcast, you're going to be like, well, this is a joke. Why would I ever watch this again? If you see a Utica broadcast, you'd be like, well, first of all, you'd say, what the hell is that dinosaur thing? But then you would say...
Well, the dinosaur would be gone at that point.
Yeah, right. But you say, wow, this is really cool looking. The turf, I haven't seen a blue turf before. There's fans packed in the crowd. This guy sounds like what's his name? Kenny Albert. He calls a great game. He actually, Bigsy calls a great game with no color person. He's doing the whole thing himself, and he's doing an amazing job. We'll get to that in a second. But I just think if you watch, some of these broadcasts are here, and some of them are here, and there's very few in the middle that are just kind of average. There's either this one would keep a viewer's attention, and this one would turn somebody off to it. And there needs to be many more of these, and none of these at all.
And ownership really isn't doing anything about it. Like since day one, like if you could pack that arena full of fans, it would be amazing. But you're looking at videos of the preseason game, and it's like you're playing in front of 5 people.
Yeah.
Like, what's going to happen when they play Ontario next week?
Well, and they say, so they're doing the thing where if you pay for parking, you get free tickets to the game in the upper section. And they're saying they're doing that and I like where they're coming from. They say they're doing that as a thank you to the fans for bearing with them through the COVID season and kind of a payback to the community. Okay, it sounds to me like you're doing it because that's the only way you can get people in.
That's exactly it. It pains me to say this but it's a cop out. It really is. Like, you must really want to lose money.
Well,
what it boils down to is you're paying basically, well, $10 times like 100, like you're losing, well, a lot of money a game.
And I heard what? so the shortened COVID season, or the season ended by COVID, 2019-2020 season. We heard rumors that Florida's entire revenue for the entire season, the Wave had 5 separate games that were more than the entire season's worth ticket revenue.
Exactly.
And what's the first thing owner Zimmerman did when he came into the Wave? He got rid of all free tickets and all Groupon deals and all coupons and things. And yes, there were people that got pissed off and said they were no longer going to support the Wave. But he said, well, if you're getting free tickets, how are you supporting the Wave? Buy a jersey once a year? Sure.
Yeah. So I think in this case, I think in the case of Florida, I think ownership needs to like ask some of these diehard fans or some outside folks. I mean, how do you think we could get people in the stands?
I want to see a Jimmy Kimmel like walking the streets asking people if they've heard of the Florida Tropics. Do you guys know we have an indoor soccer team?
How many people would mention
the
Will
movie?
Ferrell?
Right. Which, yes, Andrew Haynes totally ripped off that movie on purpose because it was, I thought it was a cool marketing gimmick. It hasn't worked, but yeah, I don't know. So we'll kind of skip that, but I think the players deserve better. I think I have a newfound, I wouldn't say fan because we're going to be mortal enemies of every team in the league, but I think a newfound liking of what's going on there.
Yeah.
Until they beat us, and then
I've heard rumblings from Utica fans about some of the things that the players did, but I don't know. I'm not gonna go into that. If it happened, it is what it is. You know, you brush it off, you move on to the next game.
I have an important thing to bring up here.
Oh, so do I.
So what's the
but
other?
Yours is probably more important than mine.
Oh, 100%. So we changed the name to In the Box from MASL In the Box because we wanted to be able to cover more, and we didn't really want to have the MASL tag on. There were kind of rumors around that they wanted to change the name to MISL. We've been talking about doing it for like a year before we did it, so we finally did it. What are one of the things that we talk about a lot on this show, especially recently?
Cake.
Happy birthday! Happy birthday to me.
That's right. So, funny fact. What I was going to say involved cake as well. So I tried this 2-ingredient cake.
Oh, that's right. Yes.
One of the most overrated things ever.
What was it? What were the ingredients?
Oreos and milk. That's it.
Okay.
So you mush up the Oreos in a cup or a mug or whatever.
Mhm.
Pour some milk in, put it in the microwave for a minute, and that's it. It comes out like consistency of a cake.
Oh, it does. Okay. Not good. All right.
No, I'd rather have cookies and milk.
So your next
separate.
adventure. See, I'm not really an Oreo fan as it is.
Right.
But your next adventure is take any box cake mix and any 12-ounce can of soda. Don't use any of the extra, and that's it. Those are the only ingredients. Don't use like the water or the milk or the eggs that it tells you to use. Use the box mix and the soda and bake it the same way you normally would. And
Maybe
report.
I'll try that.
Report
Maybe
back.
I'll try that either this weekend or next weekend.
We need
Probably
a new
next
logo
week.
for in the cake.
Yeah.
Or is it cake in the
Cake.
box?
Yeah. So do we do other stuff on this show? Should we do predictions?
Oh yeah. Let's do real quick. I got some things set up here for the weekend broadcasts. The asked broadcast has taken a giant step backwards. So previously there was this broadcast that was on that the audio was like 5 seconds behind the video, or the video one of them was offset. There was a delay between the audio and video of like 5 seconds. It would progressively get worse. There were weird numbers on the screen. The video quality was garbage. And then things changed and it got 100% better. It was a great broadcast. Everything was perfect. Everything looked good. There were still some weird camera angles and there were some dark spots in the arena, which I don't think the broadcast can fix. I think that's a lighting issue. But it was very, very acceptable. And then we went back this weekend to the weird. We didn't have a 5-second delay, and we didn't have the weird numbers on the screen and stuff. But
there were still weird numbers.
Well, yeah, there was one point they were down by 20 goals or something, 20-5 or
20,
something.
it was
like
25. It was 25-4. Florida.
Yeah, that's a rough game. But there were the video kept pausing. In fact, if you go in my next one of the next things I want to talk about, MASL Primetime is back. First episode appeared tonight, covering the first 2 weeks up until the last games. Great production, great job. But even in those replays, you got the goal, like one of the goals of the week, the video pauses and you never see the ball go in the net. So it kicks, it pauses, and then it's down here.
That's what makes it a goal of the week. It just it stops and then it just drops.
Right? Yeah. So the last gets a giant downvote, thumbs down. And yeah, John Brewer said he saw that. He thought his TV stream was freezing, and that I asked a number of people, and no, it was everybody.
So for the record, speaking of John Brewer, I am supposed to say the reason why Utica lost is because they did not bring the corn dog into the arena. So,
come on, guys.
Yeah.
You had one
probably
job.
Should change that on Sunday.
Yeah. The next broadcast, the Dallas Sidekicks. Oh.
I watched like the pregame show. And well, let me jump back real quick to the Baltimore game.
Okay.
So I really didn't watch a lot of that game. I did watch the beginning part as I was waiting for our food to arrive at Pizza Hut. They had no clue what they were doing at the beginning. I think as a fan of the sport, I want to see, like, your team hasn't played in 20 months. What would you rather see? Or you haven't seen soccer in 20 months. What would you rather see or hear? Player introductions for the Blast, or someone wanting to send it down to the other guy who will talk about the other team, but they don't have any idea what's going on. And meanwhile, you see the players come onto the field. Like, I would rather watch the player introductions than listen to a bunch of gibberish.
I don't know why they
were
don't
doing.
pump the arena sound. Like, why can't we listen to the national anthem when they play it? Why does we have to mute all those microphones?
Yeah. Yeah, I don't get it. Like, and they do this all the time.
Right.
And I think like one of the teams that does it is Harrisburg. I think Harrisburg does the player introductions every single game, and it's great. I love it. But I would rather watch that than them trying to talk about the new rules and this, that, and the other thing, and we're going to send it down to so-and-so for information about this, and then they don't come on, and then it's like, we're going to take a break. And
Yeah.
like, so just really weird.
Meanwhile,
and Dallas kind of, I don't know what was going on with Dallas.
So Dallas, the go, that has to stop. That just no, stop, please stop. And the other dude with this weird ASMR, like what's going on here? I didn't want to say anything when Jules said he enjoyed the broadcast. The other thing was, it took them 5 times to stage a pre-recorded recording from Laura in the Dallas game. It was, Kevin, Baltimore sound is really low too, because then when the commercials came on, they were like 10 times louder than everything else. That was another complaint. Like, get your sound. It's not like, I really don't think this is like PhD level stuff here. Like, the world has been doing broadcasts since like the 1930s or 40s or something. It's been a while.
Yes, yeah.
In Dallas, so they had this thing where Laura was doing, I talked to this person before and they did this last season too, where they tried to get this person. It was a pre-recorded statement, and why I know it was a pre-recorded statement is because when they were trying to get it to work, you could hear it in the background of the broadcast. And then when it finally came in, it was the exact same thing, said the exact same way. But then she did some live interviews. So it's like, why are you even having this pre-recorded thing and playing it off like it's live when it's obviously not live? And I didn't get it. It's like they were focused more on that than they were calling the game. Let's get this pre-recorded. I talked to his family and he said he really likes the color blue and the number 6. Great. So Dallas gets a giant, another.
One of my favorite sounds of all time.
Yeah. And then Utica is.
That's about the only bright side. Of course, I won't rewatch this game.
I can see why.
For obvious reasons, but
Yeah.
I've heard it was a great broadcast as usual. I did hear behind the scenes there were a few issues, but
yeah, Bigsy said he was like, it's really rusty, getting really, and it was fantastic. It was great. There were no issues that made it over obvious into the broadcast from a viewer standpoint.
Well, I mean the dinosaur. We could have been without the dinosaur, and it would have been an even better broadcast. But
yeah, I don't understand that, but yeah. So that's it. Those are the 3. Those are the only 3. Reveal. Oh, Jack says the keeper reveal is worth the rewatch. Honestly, what is a keeper reveal?
so is that when he came out on the police car thing? The whole arena was silent. Like, Utica had not seen anything like this. And I was telling you before the show, I'm like, we're used to seeing like the ball and then the 2 teams come out and
The mascot's
intro
name.
and like to hype up the game, and it's like, and now here's your new mascot, Keeper. And this police car comes out, and then
Oh, okay. I didn't realize his name was Keeper because that makes even less sense.
yeah. So I think everyone just kind of like looked and then tilted their head further and further.
What is it? What's happening? I do like the jersey. I need one of those. I don't
This
even
is
want
this
one.
is yeah. This is out of all of these. This is my favorite. Now,
What I need is a long sleeve Milwaukee Wave jersey. So this is a short sleeve, and then I wear this like long sleeve generic black jersey under it because it's when your turf is on top of ice, it gets cold in the arena and it's winter.
Yeah.
But I would really like a long sleeve Wave jersey. I gotta talk to a guy about that.
Yeah.
Mascot's named.
Yeah. Keeper.
Speaking of dinosaurs, do you know why T-Rexes can't clap?
Okay, so we're not even at the end of the show. We haven't
Oh.
even done our predictions yet, and
Okay.
you really want me to just like you want me to disconnect?
You would think it's because they have short arms, but it's because they're all dead. All right. Before we get to the predictions, something changed with the Facebook groups within the last week, where now there are no longer membership requirements for public groups. Meaning anyone can join the group, anyone can comment. They don't even have to be a member of the group to comment or like or post or do anything. There is a preview participant thing where I have to approve stuff, or we have to approve stuff for when someone does stuff for the first time. But other than that, anyone can join the group. Now it was public, so you didn't really have to log into Facebook to see the group anyway. A lot of groups that I'm in for completely other non-related things have changed their groups from public to private because of this. I don't really want to do that within the box because I don't want it to be I know there's a lot of players who may not have Facebook accounts or don't want to be associated with it, who still want to see the content on here. So that's kind of one of the reasons I don't want to do it. But I just want to warn people, if it gets too out of hand, make sure you use the report post button. Don't use it just because, Matt posts something or Gio posts something you don't like. But if anyone, there's spam or completely inappropriate things, please use the report post button and get on top of it.
And when we talk about spam, we really don't talk about a picture of a can of spam. Although if that offends you, then yes.
We could, though. No reason why we can't.
Right. But I'm just saying, if a can of spam offends you and you want to report it, I mean, go ahead. You may get a chuckle out of us, but...
Yes. All right. We have nothing else left to do. One more thing. MASL midweek. If you haven't seen it, don't bother this week. It's 22 minutes of random generic questions and ride tickets, not really giving any info out about anything useful at all. So we've covered that. I still think it's a good show. I think it's a good idea to interview people. Michelle Gingras does a really good job. She's a really good host. She picks up the conversation when in other places like us, we don't know what to do because we don't do this for a living. Yeah. Jack says he's going to report every bad power rankings post.
Okay, let's talk about that for 2 seconds.
Here I was just like, oh yeah, another topic.
No, and I'm not talking about the definition of power rankings because I want to go to bed soon, so I'm going to keep it to a minimum. I think Alex's power rankings this week were pretty good. I think the Utica drop was was absolutely needed. I do not think the Chihuahua Savage is the 6th best team in the league.
More like 4th?
No. I see them, honestly, I see Baltimore 6th, Utica 7th, Chihuahua 8th. But, I mean, that's just my opinion. And that's why we do this. It's not based off of standings. If it was based off of standings, it would be called standings.
Yeah. So
because at this time, Utica is not the worst team in the league.
When Juan our good friend Juan Ruiz means very well, but English is not his primary language, and anything that he posts in English, he writes in Spanish first and uses Google Translate. Things come out weird, to say the least.
Slightly.
And I don't think he understands what power rankings are. I think he thinks that they are rankings regardless of the division. He put out something called Power Rankings, which is just the overall standings, because we don't have that right now. in the league, there are no overall standings from top to bottom without divisions. They're split up by divisions. And we're going to need something like that later on towards when playoff scenarios come in because of the way the playoff things are going to be. It's going to be the top three, top from each division, and then the rest 5 across all 3 divisions based on record and points. But then when you said those on power rankings, he tried to explain what they were, and his post made no sense at all. Like the translation failed on every single level.
Yeah.
So sorry, Juan. What you're doing is not power rankings. They're overall standings, maybe. Anyway,
So
this weekend I've been avoiding this because there's a tough game to kick the weekend off. And it is the Milwaukee Wave at the Baltimore Blast on Saturday, December 11th, 6:05 p.m. Eastern, 5:05 p.m. Central Time. The Wave's first game of the season, and Baltimore's second.
So I'll
You start, please.
I'll give you time to think. I'll give you my breakdown of this game.
I need some thinking cake.
Yeah, have some thinking cake. I think we saw Baltimore kind of get the feet under themselves that fourth quarter, making that game against Florida close. And you could tell they hadn't played in 20 months, and the same with Milwaukee. So I think you're going to see kind of sort of the same thing as you saw Florida versus Utica or Florida versus Baltimore, where it's just going to be a lot of little ticky-tack mistakes. So I think the key to the game is going to be set pieces. I think Baltimore's going to win this. I would say 2 goals. I would say Milwaukee's probably like a one goal underdog at this point, because I mean most of those guys haven't played on that short field in Baltimore, and it's definitely a difference maker. So I'm gonna take Baltimore.
Kevin's one of my new favorites. He says Wave in overtime. So I am worried. Kind of the same things that Coach Jules was saying. They've done a lot of training. They've trained, and the Wave has always said that their trainings are harder. They train harder than they play in the actual games, and they have to get up to that. But it's still not a game mentality. You can still simulate a game, and in the end of the day, it doesn't mean anything. If you're a starter and you know you're going to be a starter, and the whistle blows and you're just not paying attention for a second, they can do over, or you can, I got to catch up and everything. Where against Baltimore, that could be a goal. In addition, this isn't the same team that played 20 months ago. It's very different. And from the goalkeeper all the way forward, there are a lot of new pieces in place and a lot of young pieces in place, along with the veterans. And so you aren't going to see the same lines that were able to gel. Obviously, Max and Ian aren't together anymore. It's going to be very different. So it could go many different ways. And there are cases, especially against Baltimore, with these little things. Baltimore has a lot of their team still together, and a lot of their players are still together. It could be one of these things where it's just a weird play, a weird bounce, a weird whatever, and catches them off guard, and then a set piece, and they're down 2-0 with 4 minutes into the first quarter. And that just kind of sets the tone for the whole thing, and then it's going to be like a super gut check. I'm hoping that it's closer, and obviously as a Wave fan, I want them to win. I think they probably lose by 2.
Yeah.
If for my in the box requirements, I say they lose by 2. For my Wave fan, I think they win by 1. How's that? How's that for a wishy-washy answer?
Well, that's not really an answer, but okay.
I'm good at those though, and I'll continue to give those throughout the season as far as Wave games go.
All right. Okay. All right.
The other thing is there was no preseason game this year. Now, granted, preseason games have been against, like they played Muskegon Risers one year. There was a 1 year when Lemos and Renault and Shamali came in the Canadian trio. They played the Chicago Mustangs when they were still in the league in a preseason game, and that was pretty tough. They did play a lot of the players that haven't played a lot, and that probably won't make rosters, but they didn't have a Central Cup or they didn't have a preseason game or anything like that. So we'll know 5 minutes in the first quarter what it's going to be.
Yep.
And especially with the unknown goalkeeper, that worries me more. New goalkeeper rule doesn't worry me as much because of Josh not being in, but it worries me a lot just overall.
Yeah.
All right, next game, Comets at the Sidekicks, 7:00 Central on the same day on Saturday.
If I were a betting person, I would say Dallas 3.5 goal underdogs. Even at that point, I would still take Kansas City. I think, especially if some of their players come back, like we had Marquez and Benji.
I don't have any. I don't have any words on them.
Does the MASL have an injury report?
Here we go. Right, just kicking it right off with that. Yes, they do.
Last updated 2019.
And there's only one team that has updated anything. There are 3 probables for Comets: Sandovari, right foot sprain; Ramon Palmer, left knee stiffness; and Nick McDonald, right wrist sprain. Probably patting himself on the back for his goal of the year.
Probably,
in the Central Cup.
Yeah, probably.
But no, seriously, I hope everyone's doing well. And that's the only team that reported anything. And I thought from last...
So, I mean, if Marquez and Benji aren't on the injury report, then that means they're playing, question mark?
Well, no. So I'm looking at the roster right now. So... how do I read this? So the way that I understand how this works is if you are signed to a contract but don't have a valid visa, you are listed under inactive players. Right now is the Benji and Rian and Felipe Abreu are on inactive, but Lucas Souza is on the active roster.
Okay, so they have visa issues. Okay.
Yeah, Rian Lucas and Benji all had visa issues. That's why they're
okay. Well, I think regardless of that, I think you are going to see. I mean, Kansas City definitely had a great weekend last week or a couple weeks ago against St. Louis. I mean, Dallas still getting their feet wet. I would say 10-3, 10-4, something like that.
I was going to say, yeah, Comets by 6 or 7.
Yeah.
And I mean, the Dallas started out. I was feeling bad for St. Louis in the first couple of goals there because I'm like, wow, they just got completely blown out by Kansas City after almost doing well in the first game. They got blown out the second game, and then Dallas just immediately scores 2 goals. But then they just turn it on, and they're like, hey, guys, we can play, remember? And just, that was the end of that.
Yep.
In the third game, and why are all these 3 games on at the same time? Soccer's at the Stars, 7 p.m. Pacific, which is the exact same time as the Wave Blast game. Fantastic.
Wait, 7 o'clock Pacific?
No, wait.
Like
time zones
that's
are
like
hard.
9 Central.
Time zones are hard, man.
Time zones aren't really that hard.
They are if you're an idiot.
It's like 10 o'clock Eastern.
Yeah. Okay, so never mind. I'll be watching all 3 games in a row with a little bit of overlap between some of them.
I don't know how I would bet this game.
No line. Off board, whatever the term is.
Pick 'em. I mean, I'm gonna go upset. I'm taking Tacoma at home.
I would put this as an off board, which means you can't even bet on it because it's so screwed up. But I have a lot of questions. We kind of talked about it before our coach joined, but Tacoma has a new coach. That means that Nick Perella can focus more on playing. They have Vinny Dantas, but other than that, they really haven't signed anyone different that I've seen. They just did a whole slew of transactions. It's all similar names. Canale, DeLuna,
and with
Rafael Cox.
San Diego, I mean, you look at last season's roster. No William Vanzella, of course you have Boris Pardo. No Taylor Bond, no Slavisa Ubi-Perapovic, no Ben Raymond, of course.
No Marcio Leite.
Yeah, so there's a lot of the guys from the championship team, 18-time or whatever. A lot of those players are gone, but in the same breath, you could say a lot of the players from 2 years ago are still there.
Charlie Gonzalez is coming, so he's going to be there. You know who they just signed? Jamie Lovegroove.
Oh, good old Lovegroove.
They just signed Sean Callahan, Jose Gonzalez, Juan Gonzalez, Andy Reyes, Juan Manuel Rojo, and Jamie Lovegrove got signed today from the Sockers. Stars signed Canale, DeLuna, Salveson, and Rafael Cox yesterday.
Yeah, I just I think it's the edge. I think would go to San Diego on a neutral field. I'm going upset. I'm gonna take Tacoma.
Tacoma. Are we keeping track of these picks or are we not? So just so we don't
No,
embarrass ourselves.
I don't think we are.
Okay, good.
I mean, kind of if we want to, but
that's a lot of work, and then we have to keep a tally and see how we did week to week. And
I know I went 2-0 the first week and 1-2 last week.
I know I don't even remember who I picked, so there's that.
Yeah.
And then Sunday's game, and you're going to take the same stance I am. Blast at Utica, 1 p.m. Eastern.
I want to hear what you have to say about this game.
I figured.
Because I might go different. I don't know yet.
Well, here's the thing. I don't want to be one of these like sports analysts that make all these generic terms, but I think the season kind of rests on this game for Utica. Not winning it, but fixing everything. Because if they play the same way they did last week, and they're going to get blown out, and I don't think that they can handle 2 of those in a row. I think that's going to be a huge hit to morale. Fans are going to get restless, say a lot of things on social media. Players are going to see it, going to get more in their heads. So Utica really needs to bounce back. They need to, it's kind of too late to do it now, but they need to really work on their moving forward game and not I'm down by 7 goals. Who can I pass to behind me? So I think, like you said, Baltimore picked it up in the fourth quarter. I mean, they played the best team in the league and lost by 2 goals. Well, granted, they were never ahead and they were never. I mean, they were in it for a while, but they got away from them, pretty early. Florida was fast; they came out of the gates. I don't know how the field is going to change. Blasts typically on other bigger fields aren't as good as they are at home, but I want to say Blast by 1.5 goals. Put the line at that.
Okay. So this is a must-win for Utica. I mean, I know the players got punched directly in the teeth during that Florida game. I know they're going to want to bounce back in a big way. And you said it. I mean, fans will get restless.
Yeah. Certain someone will have the phone on in his car on the way to work, and
yeah. But no matter what, I'm still a UCFC fan, so don't worry about that.
yeah.
But I think for Utica, they need to, and you said it, but they also need to be more aggressive. And you saw that during the Florida game, where a player would go by a Florida Tropics player, create like a mini break or an uneven, like a 4-on-3 or something like that. Then they would stop and pass it back.
Yeah.
Like, no, find a way to keep going forward.
And so this is why this whole goalkeeper rule is tough for me, because of the style that the Wave has played of the possession game. And like Jules said, you're up by 2 or 3 goals and you just want to wear them out. So you make them chase and you play back and back and back and back and back and do like the star pattern and all that other stuff. But when you're down, you can't play that possession game. You have to find scoring chances, and you have to take it. You have to, against a team like Florida or the Blast, or actually I want to say almost any team in this league this year, with the exception of 1 or 2, you have to take advantage of your opportunities. And if you don't, almost like giving goals away. It's like, let's say Blast comes in favor by a goal, and you have a breakaway, and instead of following through the breakaway and taking a shot, you pass it back. Well, now all of a sudden it's a 1.1 goal advantage. And every time you do that, you're giving them a little bit more of an advantage. Yeah, I would say must win to get the season back on track, because
I think you're going to see a different Utica team Sunday. I hope we see that right out of the gate. We see the drive and what we're used to out of Utica. Now, I'm not going to make excuses, but we were without 3 key players. Darren Toby, Anua Obasi, Moises Gonzalez. Obasi will be out for this game. I'm not exactly sure about Darren Toby or Moises Gonzalez. But Darren Toby would be a huge help to that Utica team. And so I can't go against Utica.
Understand.
I can't.
Yeah.
So I'm going to say, and Baltimore Utica has always been close, so I'm going to say Utica by 1.
That's fair. I think it's fair. And let me rephrase how I say. You say it's a must win. I say it's a must change. So I think if they lose this game and put up a really good showing and lose a close game, it's still a good thing. If they get blown out,
I think you're right, but I also think I'm going to retract my statement. I think if they lose by 1, it's not the end of the world.
Yeah. However,
but they won't. So there you go.
If you want to be a division contender and a playoff contender, you have to be able to beat the team at home that just came off a doubleheader, who's traveling and playing 2 games within 20 hours.
Yep.
You have to be able to beat that team, regardless of who it is. I don't care if it's Baltimore, Dallas, Florida.
An effort. If Utica had come out and lost that game 7-5,
yeah,
we wouldn't be. I wouldn't have gone off on a rant. I wouldn't be as upset as I was.
John Brewer says he's bringing the corn dogs. I think that's automatically.
Well, thank you. Good.
So I changed my. So if he's going to bring the corn dog, I say Blast by a half a goal. That's my.
Okay, but Blast can't win by half a goal.
It's the power of the corn dog.
Okay,
corn dog can do mystical things.
He can make the Blast win by half a goal, maybe.
Believe the corn dog.
But yeah, that The most interesting thing I want to see this weekend is the Baltimore Blast attendance.
I wish there was a better way. So in the game on whatever day it was the other day, they showed more of the upper bowl, the upper seats. And what you noticed in previous years is you only saw the lower bowl. And then it was, the joke was it's dressed like Yellow Seat Day. And they're like, oh, everyone's in the concourse. But they actually took time to show that. And I think that's important because, like, if you have a beer garden like at Utica, I don't know, do they have regular seats and then they go to the beer garden, or are there seats in the beer garden?
Their seats are in the beer garden.
Oh, they are. Okay. So in Baltimore, they aren't. Like, there are no seats in the concourse, but people like to walk around up there and watch the game from up there. And it's probably a pretty cool angle because you're like straight down in the action at that point. I think they need to offset the fact that there's nobody in the stands there. They need to show where everyone is. And when they showed that upper section, it was completely full. Yeah. I was like, oh, here's all the people.
Yeah, and I hope they do it again because they did outdraw Utica for their home opener, which is great. Hats off to them. Can they keep it going?
Yeah.
But
we actually have one more game because Chihuahua is playing at Ontario on Wednesday, which would be the night before our show.
Okay.
So that one is Chihuahua at Ontario, 7 p.m. Pacific, which is 10 Eastern and 9 Central, and 8 Mountain. I've never known anyone that lives in Mountain Time. Do you know anyone that lives in Mountain?
My cousin.
Do you live in Mountain Time in the chat? Let us know. You could win a corn dog.
But only if you're subscribed by... I did it wrong!
Sorry. There we go. Subscribe. Everyone subscribe. We haven't gotten any new subscribers since we've been talking about.
Yeah, my cousin lives in Denver. So Wednesday. Dang, that's crazy. I mean, it's good.
There are a lot of games in Ontario at weird days.
Yeah, like the Tuesday game that I'm going to be at.
Yeah, and there's like a bunch of Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday games. So Chihuahua against the Fury. So we're going to see the Fury for the first time since they lost to San Diego in the minigame by 1 goal. Was it the minigame in overtime by 1 goal?
Yeah.
No, it was just the minigame.
Oh, no, yeah, it was a minigame. They won game 2 in overtime. Yep. Robert Palmer scored.
And then in the last, I still say if you want the best highlight of indoor soccer, show the last 2 minutes.
Seconds.
Well, yeah, last 15 seconds of that San Diego Fury minigame.
Yeah. Which by the way, what are you placing the odds on me getting William Vanzella to actually admit to the incident in Kansas City?
200-1.
Okay. You're probably right. But,
there will be no.
So you have a soundbite from someone, and I think that's going to be a key to this game.
It's the wrong one.
It is not that one.
Is it the?
It's 2 words.
Is it
corn dogs, Jackie? Corn dogs for all these people.
You're going to probably go to the Ontario International Airport. No, it's not that.
Slippery balls.
That is correct. Yes, I will take Ontario and the slippery balls.
So, for those of you who don't know, and we're calling him out because he seems to be he's not watching our shows anymore. Our most engaged viewer, our former most engaged viewer, MJSL, Jay Miller of Facebook and kilt-wearing, Wave-attending season ticket holder fame. He wears a kilt to every game. And he got, like, you know those wrestling boots that have the laces that go really far up? He got black and yellow wrestling boots to match these colors perfectly. It looks completely ridiculous, but it's one of the most awesome outfits I've ever seen. He says that Chihuahua will only win 2 games this season against Dallas, and that's it. So I challenged him to a bet for $20 U.S. currency. he prefers a 10 and 2 5s, and I prefer a $20 bill, that Chihuahua will finish above 500 this season, which means 13 wins or more. He's convinced that on week 13, I will be paying up the bet because they will have no wins.
Fun fact, I've also made a bet with MJSL that if the Milwaukee Wave go undefeated,
Yeah.
I will be getting a tattoo of his choosing, which, if all goes the way we think, I won't have to worry about it after the game.
Well, for that reason, I hope the Wave, I hope the Wave win all our games. But so Chihuahua has signed a lot of talent. They have signed a lot of stars from both Sonora and Monterey, players who have been in championship games, players who have won championship games, and they also started with a really good team. They've been undefeated in almost every league they've ever played in. M2 when they were in here, they were Kevin, hang on a second, let me answer that. Second. They've lost basically they've won and have gone undefeated in every league they've been in Mexico, along with the M2. And Jay's rationale is because they were in the M2, they're a minor league team and they don't deserve to compete with the MASL. I think they're going to come out and make a statement. I have them by 2 goals in this game. As good as the Fury is, them by 2 goals.
No, I will take the opposite. I will say Ontario by 2.
Okay. And I think Ontario is going to start right where they left off. And I just think the talent of this Chihuahua team is going to be like out of this world.
But I will say, I think Chihuahua starts off slow because a lot of these guys didn't play last season.
But they played Mexican leagues. They've been playing. They haven't been out. They've been playing all sorts of things. They haven't played MASL level talent, but they've played. I mean, there's a lot of Mexican players in the MASL that play in the Mexican.
Right. I just think they haven't played at this particular level. I think they're great. Don't get me wrong. I think give them a few games to kind of ramp up, and then you'll see them beat the likes of San Diego, Tacoma, Ontario. But I think the first game, I think Ontario picks up right where they left off, and they're definitely hungry after last season.
And that's where I'm wondering, because remember last 2019-2020 season, they started out very slow. Last season, they started out very slow. Ontario did. I think they might start out a little slower and get caught off guard. But that said, it's gonna be an amazing game.
Yeah, it's gonna be a great game.
I now have a dilemma. We played in my pool league Wednesday. We played advanced from the team that we're supposed to play on the 15th. Because one of the guys is going to be out of town. We actually don't have to go to pool league that night, but I was going to ask one of the guys if he wanted to shoot anyway. But now I'm wondering if I should just stay home and watch this.
I should stay home. Yeah, I will be staying home and watching that game.
Kevin asked, when did the Wave lose their blue uniforms and adopt the Steelers colors? It was a progression over several years. So when Sue Black came in the league 2014 or 2015, and bought the team, fired Keith Tozer. Inexplicable. Although I am happy we have Coach Jules and Tozer's the commissioner now. The jerseys changed from the blue to a black and white and blue. And then when Zimmerman came in the year after, they wanted to make a statement and they made them blue and highlighter like neon yellow. And then in the 2019-2020 season, they adopted this color yellow. They are really sharp. They look really great on the field. A lot of old school fans hate the highlighter yellow, which makes me like it even more. A lot of old school Wave fans hate the fact that it's blue, because why is black and yellow having to do with a wave? Because the Wave was for Lake Michigan, which is a blue lake, but I like the colors. I like the way it looks. It looks great under the LED lights. The turf is black. The MKE Wave logo is this yellow color on the turf now. And yeah, best looking kits in the league. Maybe not next to that Utica. We'll see. I don't know if there's going to get new jerseys this year. Somebody asked me. I think Aaron asked me in the chat, and we were kind of running out of time with Coach Jules, so I didn't have a chance to ask. But we will see. I could probably find out, but I won't find out right now. So yeah, so there's that.
Yeah. So you can now feel free to tell your joke that you wanted to, or you already told it.
I already did. I don't have one lined up for tonight, but I can come up with one. I got these. I tell a lot of dad jokes, right?
I've heard you do a couple, right? Yeah.
Do you know where I keep my dad jokes?
Okay, so before you even say the punchline, thank you for watching, everybody. Because I know exactly where this is going, and then this happens every episode. He'll tell the punchline, I sign off. So I want to make sure I get everything out beforehand. So like and subscribe and all that stuff, and I'll be in the chat for YouTube and down here. And I'll be in the chat for the games, and yeah, that's pretty much it.
All right, yeah, everyone, thanks for hanging out. We are just a reminder, we're gonna keep going at 7:30 Central, 8:30 Eastern for these shows on Thursday evenings. And enjoy the games this weekend. We will talk to you next week. Where do I keep my dad jokes?
Yeah, where do you keep them?
In a database.
Oh.